niggas linking up. Trail niggas linking up. Link up, my nigga, let's link up.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Link Up. I'm your host, Ron the Don. Of course, my co-host for Off the Court, Mr. Ty. Ladies and gentlemen, fresh off the press, Paul George declining his player option, so he will become an unrestricted free agent. Um, this is definitely big news because it seemed like Paul George was going to be the first domino to fall in free agency, as other people, waiting to see what happens. What are your thoughts on Paul George declining his player option and potentially setting up things to come with the free agency?
It kind of seemed like the writing was on the wall with Paul George because reportedly they didn't offer him the full 4 years and also the full max money. Um, I think maybe they was trying to see if he would, would he take less just to remain in LA, because he's from the area. But me personally, I like it because I feel like there's a couple better fits for him elsewhere, and we can get into that as well. But um, I'm not too shocked about him leaving LA. I mean, it kind of sucks for the Clippers because they gave up a lot for him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, even though they paid Kawhi, I think I want to say not the full max, but close to the full max. I I like it honestly.
Yeah, I mean, this has been like the topic of conversation in the last couple of weeks. Will he or won't he? Obviously Kawhi is signed for the next 3 years, so the Clippers were, hoping that he would take 3 years instead of 1 and 4, to kind of line that up so their books are clear, after Kawhi is gone. But PG said, he this might be his last big payday, so he want to get paid. Before he did decline, it was reported by Mark Stein that the Warriors were targeting, potentially bringing in Paul George, over negotiating with Klay Thompson, so they were making that their main focus. Obviously, we heard names like Philly, Orlando Magic. Where do you see Paul George fitting in?
Um, I believe Philly. I actually like the fit. Like I said, we can reference check this later on, but I believe he only has two options right now that he opted out because the Warriors are an apron team with their salaries. So the only way he could have went to Golden State would have been via sign and trade. But obviously, since he's opted out, you can't do a sign and trade in the Warriors because of their salaries that they have on roster for their roster right now. They can't sign him outright. Um, so they're kind of left with trying to go back to Klay Thompson. But as far as George, I feel like a big three of him, Embiid, and Maxi would be very intriguing um, to go along with the other moves that were made in the East by the Knicks, and then like I said, you have the Celtics who's still trying to figure out what the Heat's going to do. So that could be another
Same with the
domino.
Bucks.
Yeah, same with the Bucks coming back healthy. But I feel like with Paul George's game, where he don't really need to dominate the ball, he can play off Maxi, can play off Embiid, still can defend at a high level. I believe Philly, is a great fit for him. Going back east.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think for Paul George, the Eastern Conference is, the better option. I just don't know about the fit in Philly. Not as far as like on the court per se, but it's more so like will they be able to really make it on the court? We seen the years past and be, every year is just something. Either he's not, performing in the playoffs or he's lingered by injury. And, Paul George isn't the healthiest player either. So like, as far as I just feel like he leaving the same situation with Kawhi to potentially join the same situation with Embiid. Granted, I will say Embiid just came off not this past season, but the year before a season of being MVP. So you never know. But with his history, it's been a struggle for Embiid to stay fully healthy. I also wonder how it's gonna be with Maxi. We heard Paul George came out and said he's okay with not being, the number one guy, but will Paul George coming in take, the ball more out of Maxi's hands? We seen that, he was the most improved this past season. And, will that stunt his growth a little bit? Because bringing in Paul George over, you know, say Tobias Harris and Kelly Oubre, those wings were playing more so without the ball and they didn't demand the ball. But for Paul George to be effective on offense, he gotta kind of has the ball, get into his pick and roll offense, which would be amazing with Embiid. But like I said, it forces Maxi to play off the ball, which we haven't really seen him excel in that role. So that's some of the things I am worried about as far as fit. But I do think they're going, if healthy, and he does go there, stay at the top of the East, most definitely.
But with Paul George, he's one of those players, where you can kind of plug him in. Like even when Golden State got Durant, not saying he's equivalent to Durant, but you can see how Durant doesn't necessarily need to dominate the ball. That's pretty much saying Paul George's game is very, very similar. And he's played with ball dominant point guards, as far as with Russell, and he had his best season as a pro with Russell Westbrook, where I think he finished like number three in MVP voting that year. And then he came off this past season playing with James Harden. He really doesn't need to sit there and dominate the ball in the half court. Maxey can honestly continue to play how he plays, and you can kind of stagger the minutes. Whereas we can start out depending on the matchup with the Embiid Maxi pick and roll, and if Paul George can go against second string defenders and be the primary focus of an offense towards the end of a quarter, beginning of the second quarter, is like that's crazy offense, and surround him with shooters. Like I see like his game really fitting because he doesn't other than Indiana where he had to score, it's not too many places where Paul George you just knew like, all right, he's gonna just dominate the ball for 15, 20 seconds, a la
Hmm.
James Harden. But his game does fit with their timeline and being a veteran presence for Maxi. I don't like it low key because I'm a Heat fan, but I mean basketball fit wise, like yeah, I feel like it's gonna fit seamlessly.
Yeah, I like. Don't get me wrong, I like the fit, but I do have those questions about it, like, or I'm more so because Paul George is like what 35, 34,
No, 32, 32,
32.
33,
Well,
going on
at the end of the
33.
contract, he gonna be that age, so you
Hey
know.
man,
But
hey,
hey, I like it. Like I like Paul George. He got one of the smoothest games, in the league. His shot rarely hits rim. He a do it all type of guy. It's just I don't know. The we'll see. But what about the possibility of him joining a young team, say like a la the Orlando Magic? Do you see him fitting in an environment such as that where they're not necessarily win now, but acquiring Paul George to like a younger team like your Magic, your Pacers, like you think that raises the ceiling for them?
yeah, I could envision him being on a team like the Magic, but it's kind of ultimately what does Paul George want to be and want to do? Because I feel like if he goes to the Magic, yes, he has young talent around him, but he's going to be counted on to kind of be that veteran, to take us to the promised land, like,
Hmm.
and not saying he can't live up to that pressure, but does he want that versus a Philly where on a given night you could be the third best player, on another given night you could be the best player out there. It depends on matchups, who's hot, you know. Uh, that's why I say I think that fit would be better, but it's ultimately up to him. You know, injury wise, yeah, you might say the Magic, but you just never know injuries. Like, but to me, it'll definitely be scary hours in the East. With him in Philly, but the Magic is intriguing as well. But
Yeah.
it's ultimately what he wants to do.
Yeah, most definitely. I think Philly is like the most realistic option, being that he did decline. Because I don't really see any other like contenders with cap space right now. Maybe Oklahoma City, but
Oh, forgot about Oklahoma City. Yeah, they
like
can sign him
that'd
outright as
be a
well.
good fit.
Forgot about
Um,
that. Forgot about that.
like I don't like the Mavericks. They don't really have cap space.
No,
The Nuggets don't really have a lot of cap space. So
Detroit basketball. No, I'm
hell
not trying to
no,
go
that man is not trying to go there.
there.
But
Well, OKC, I forgot about OKC. That's very. I can see him slotting in OKC too.
that'd be
Um,
nice.
you know, and now that I think about it, hey, that'll be my favorite come out the West to get PG.
Think about it. Chet, J Dub,
Yeah,
PG, Caruso,
yeah,
SGA, Dort off the bench. It's
yeah.
tough. That'll be
Talk about
tough.
the defensive lineups they can put out on the floor, especially when it comes to the
Right.
playoffs. Yeah, I
And
mean,
like in the playoffs, like SGA was the most consistent scorer. You have PG to come in and fill that secondary scoring spot. You know, that'd be nice. And the thing I like about OKC, not to get too much off topic, like they don't mind sharing the ball. They don't mind, playing in their roles.
yeah,
From what I seen this past year, like they all, you know, like want to, sacrifice for the betterment of the team. So I definitely like that fit as well. But
team wise, yeah, it's probably hard to go from LA to OKC though, if you Paul
yeah,
George. But
I
you
mean,
want a
but he's
ring,
been there already, so
that's true. That's true.
yeah, and he's still on the West Coast. Not too far away, like as Philly would be.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's true.
speaking of OKC, they made certain draft pick selection. Of course, this past week was the NBA draft, and the OKC selected Nikola Topic, which was a surprise. But also, I like the pick only because you traded Josh Giddey without giving up a pick, and you ended up replacing him with a somewhat similar player. So you really didn't lose anything if Topic gets to his potential that Scout saw him as. But speaking of the draft, did anything catch your eye? Who are ties winners and losers of the NBA draft?
For the trade, I was going to label the Spurs as my winner until I learned that they traded Rob Dillingham to the Timberwolves. I feel like the Timberwolves are my winner as far as draft. Rob Dillingham is a certified bucket. And where the Timberwolves fell short to me in the Western Conference Finals was when all the pressure started to mount on Ant-Man and nobody else um, could really get a shot on their own. I mean, Cat should have been able to, but we all was witness that Jaden McDaniels has improved, but he's not a somebody you'll get a ball to and say, "Give me a bucket." I can see Rob Dillingham getting mentored by Mike Conley, the ultimate professional, teaching him how to be a pro. But one thing that Rob Dillingham can do is
Get
get you a
buckets.
bucket. So
Yeah.
I feel like, in a playoff series, because they already have the defense, where it's like Ant-Man's tired or Ant-Man's in foul trouble, you have somebody else that you can get a ball to and say, hey, you know, can you cook up something? 10 points, electrify the crowd. And they might start him off the bench to start out in that, Lou Williams type of role, but, he can also, I feel like he'll close games. My loser of the draft. Uh,
Before you get to that though, I just wanted to, say a little
good,
bit.
good.
You said Lou Williams. Like I was actually, gonna say I saw that comparison for him, and I actually really like that comparison for Rob. Like I feel like he's gonna be like a Lou Will type player, and that's not to say that his talent is gonna be relegated to the bench. Because honestly, if Lou Will wanted to, he could have been a starter. But like just being a certified bucket and a guy that can go out and get you, from anywhere between 15 and 25, in a limited amount of minutes, like a microwave type player. I see that. Also, I ain't want to skate past the fact that also underratedly, the Minnesota Timberwolves got a guy that was projected to go in the lottery before like the whole case. He
Yeah,
had
Terrence Shannon.
Terrence Shannon Jr.
Mhm.
off the bench. Him and Rob. I think that's gonna be big. I think his talent is underrated because he had a lot going on off the court. But those two pickups, I have to say I agree with you on that. But
Yeah.
your losers or loser.
Um, so far, and like I said, I stand to be corrected. We might do this pod a year from now, and you probably, can sit there and be like, man, you was tripping. But the Grizzlies. Not that I don't like Zach Edey. It's not that. I just feel the fit. I don't understand the fit. Um, the way Ja plays, the way they like to get up and down the court. It's like they're gonna have to play a different style when he's on the floor. Um,
Hmm.
it could work, and like I said, I could be wrong, but on paper, I just don't like the fit. So drafting him that high, it was hard for me to understand it. So that prematurely right now, they're my draft loser.
Yeah, you definitely not, the first person or maybe the last to say that. I've been seeing that a lot, especially online and everything. And I've been, thinking about this the past couple of days. And, I first of all, I agree with what you said. I'm very interested to see how it's going to work out between more so Zach Edey and Ja. But we heard Woj say, you know, well, obviously they wanted Klingon, but when Klingon was off the board, they went with Edey. And we heard Woj say that there it's a very likely possibility that Edey's going to slide right into that starting center position. And to me, this just feels like this pick was made almost because they've been playing with Ja in and out the lineup so long. This pick was made like with the idea of Ja not being in the lineup and more so geared towards helping out Jaren Jackson Jr. In my opinion, like this is the type of pick I see like where Ja's not in the lineup, and they made this type of pick because it allows Jaren to play more on the perimeter, be more of that defender, where he's defending on the perimeter and also, maybe coming from help side as well, with eating the paint. But like I said, I agree with you. I just don't see unless, Edie proved that he is a capable 3-point maker in his or Ja became a lights out shooter, time will tell. But I just don't see how like both of them are gonna be occupying space in the paint at the same time. So like I definitely, agree on that. For me, when it comes to winners, I'm gonna say the Washington Wizards. I love what they did. They got Alex Sarr. I think he's gonna be quite the talent if he puts it all together. They got somebody that I was very high on in Bub Carrington. The man, can make shots and make buckets. I like that selection. Now you got like a potential 2-man tandem, down the line. And then they went and drafted Keyshawn George from Miami. Has 3-and-D potential, but right now his game is more centered around the three ball, and Bruh can really shoot it. So like with all the moves that Washington made, I really like what they did in the draft. And then uh, I don't know. I feel like I'm stuck on three different options, all for like the same reasons. I think the Hawks, like everybody says, Reese is a great fit and all. I don't know. I just want to see it. Like I'm not saying that he's undeserving of the number one pick, but like I said last week on the pod, Atlanta has ruined so many wing players. It's just I don't know. I think Sarr was the move. It would have made the front court more dynamic with him and Jalen Johnson. You could have thrown Onyeka in there if they're gonna hold on to him. So I just felt like even though he didn't want to go there, you know, who is he? What has he
That
done?
that's the only reason why I didn't put Atlanta in my loser. My draft loser because I feel like they were handicapped
Hmm.
because Sar didn't want to go there. So who was they gonna pick?
And like you were saying last week on the pod about how like they were saying Bronny didn't want to go there, and you would have just took him for the hell of it. I would have did that with Sar because Sar's representation ain't like Bronny's representation, so it's a little
Yeah,
bit different.
that's
But
true.
that's just me.
That's
Um,
true.
Also the Charlotte Hornets, man. Like I'm not low on Tijon Salon. I just think he's a project, and I'm curious to see how his game would translate. But I feel like they had a couple of options there. They had Dalton Connect, there if they wanted. Could have went Cody Williams, Booz Ellis, Klingon, you know. Um, but I just feel like it's a wait and see. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like they went more so with a project play rather than a rounding out the roster between LaMelo and Brandon Miller play. And then my last loser, the Milwaukee Bucks. Now I have nothing against AJ Johnson, but again, Milwaukee is a win now team, and they got a project player. Somebody who might not even play for them this year, unless I'm missing something. I like I said, I could be wrong. I'm not a scout. I just watch hella YouTube videos and study stats and all of that. So this is just my own personal opinion, but I feel like I like the Tyler Smith pick in the second round, but I feel like there was just more there that Milwaukee could have got as far as win now. But those were my winners and losers.
Are we gonna draft real quick? The Lakers did two dope things.
I was gonna
Um,
bring that up next, but
'Cause,
you got it.
I saw the jersey numbers, right?
Hmm.
And the Connect Four, like that's just genius. Not saying that maybe he wanted that number all along, but
Hmm.
I thought that was great. And then also Bronny picking number 9 for the viewers and the listeners that don't know about Nick Van Exel. I say look him up. Nick Van Exel when he played was a problem. He was a lefty, small guard, but Nick the Quick Van Exel was legendary. So the aura with that number, and of course, Rondo wore it when they won the championship, but just to come in as a rookie and wear that number, because I'm pretty sure, you know, LeBron runs the team. So if Bronny won at 0, Hood Shafino would
Not
have had to pick
according
that
to
up.
his representation.
I ain't yeah, whatever. But Hood Shafino, I think I'm saying his name right. I forgot,
Hmm.
the rookie from last year. He didn't play much. I'm pretty sure Bronny won at 0, which he played, a lot of his years, AAU, travel ball, winning 0. He could have got the number. But I love the fact that he went with number 9. It's just a different type of aura. So I'm really I was pulling for Bronny before, but I think I'm gonna pull for him a different because I like that number.
I'm surprised he didn't go six.
They retired 6 across the league.
Ah, yeah,
So
Bill Russell, Bill
yeah,
Russell.
so if you're not already, I think it's only 3 players left. If you weren't already wearing 6, you can't wear it. So with Caruso getting traded, you know, he
You
couldn't
can't
wear
wear it.
6. Even though they got somebody on the team, I think the other Williams, that come off the bench, he wears 6, and there's a couple other players still in the league that wear 6.
That makes sense. My bad. See, y'all, I don't even, but, you
I'm here
know,
for you. I'm here for you.
exactly. Bro got my back. But to get into this Bronny James, all this, propaganda and all this, coming out about nepotism. We heard Bob Myers on the broadcast say that Rich Paul was basically threatening teams. If you draft Bronny, he's going to Australia. And, if you draft Bronny anyway, keep in mind, Clutch Sports, they have a wide range of a lot of talented players, so that could be, a potential problem down the line for any team that selects Bronny that's not the Lakers. What are your thoughts on this whole debacle and all that went down?
I want to say I was wrong about my pick at first. From the last pod. I thought somebody was gonna be petty and jump up and draft him, but Initially, I didn't like it, but the more I thought about it, this happens in corporate America all the time. It's about who you know, not
Mm-hmm.
what you know. So I'm not mad that they strong on this draft. Um, they got Bronny somewhere that I'm pretty sure they wanted him and Bronny wanted to be as well. Not somebody that's gonna you know get them just for tickets or just for merchandise sales. Um, I'm not mad at it. It's a lot of corporations. It's a lot of I think I'm looking at the Dallas Cowboys, where Jerry Jones is the owner. His son is the GM. Then his daughter is the head of marketing. It happens in
Yeah,
every sense of business, whether they feel like you qualify or not.
it's the same way
So
with the Bus family and the Lakers.
exactly. So it's like I kind of feel like for all LeBron has done for the league, the millions and billion dollars that he done probably helped the league make since the time he been 18, level of greatness, not getting in trouble. I'm honestly I'm not even mad at it. And then it's like if I'm pretty sure he has to spend some of his time in the G League, but the Lakers is one of the franchises where their G League and the NBA team is in the actual same city and in the same gym with different practice courts, but it's he's never going to be too far away versus if you're in Miami G League team, you in I don't even
Sioux
know how to say it.
Falls.
Sioux Falls, there you go. You nowhere close to Miami. You up there in the cold while everybody's in the sunshine. So it's like I'm not mad at it. No, I'm actually warming up to the idea. I actually really like that they made sure they got him where they wanted him.
Uh, 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 c- One thing that you made me think of, like honestly, everybody's saying that this is a LeBron thing. I can honestly say it's not because, like I said, the Bus family run the Lakers. Kobe Bryant, former agent, is the GM. Before him was Magic Johnson. So it's like the new coach is from a podcast. So it's like all everything going around in there is
Oh, let me give you another example real quick because I think they're making it big because of LeBron.
of
But
course.
a lot of people don't remember where Archie Manning made it where his son told the Chargers had the number one pick one year, right?
Hmm.
He went out and said, "My son will not play for the Chargers." Eli got drafted number one by the Chargers and he immediately got traded to the Giants because they wanted him in New York.
Yeah,
It happens.
that's what Alex
LeVar
Sarr was
Ball,
trying to do.
LeVar Ball came out and said, "My son gonna play for the Lakers." Right? And he did
Manifested
a
it.
whole manifest and did a whole campaign trail. Which looking back, they probably wish they drafted Jason Tatum, but hey, but he got him to the Lakers. It happens. It
Yeah.
happens.
No, definitely. Another thing you made me think of, like, which is kind of gonna be dope for all the father and kids fans or father and son fans. That's gonna be Lakers fans. The father can get a LeBron jersey. The kid can get a Bronny jersey. That'd be dope. Um, I'm not a Lakers fan, so I ain't gonna be doing that. But
I'm getting that, Bronny. I'm getting.
I'll wait on Bryce. But but what do you think, Brian? Like, I got a hard hitting question for you. What do you think Bronny is gonna call LeBron on the court?
Captain.
Captain. That's crazy.
What? No, the thing is, if he tells him what to do, is he gonna say yes, sir? That's the better question for me.
I'm kind of excited to watch the Lakers this season because you got honestly, it wouldn't even be the Lakers without all this Hollywood acting going on. You got JJ as the coach. LeBron done opted out of his contract. He gonna be a free agent. Obviously, he gonna resign.
Yeah.
Bronny on the team. You know, I
Off
just
topic
know,
though. Off
huh?
topic. I'll say off topic real quick. I just know who's gonna be my 2K25 when I play my player. I'm going to the Lakers. It's too much drama. I got to get in the drama. You know what I'm saying?
Just to lose to the Denver Nuggets in the playoffs.
Hey, listen, I'm giving 40. Bronny getting 10 assists. We in there.
It's like Bronny getting 10 assists. No, in 2K, Bronny would be MVP 3 times in 20. For real.
Hey, you ain't lying, nah.
2K gonna have his potential on 99. But
What? Burt gonna be a 95.
what? But moving on to the East Coast, the Eastern Conference, Los Angeles Lakers. I know they're gonna hate me for saying that. The New York Knicks, or should I say the Villanova Knicks, made a huge trade. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna give my opinion later. But the New York Knicks, y'all pissed me off. But they required Michael Bridges to complete. The Nova Knicks in New York. All signs are pointing into them retaining OG, and they still trying to get Hartenstein locked down. And the Knicks, as a Heat fan, I know we're supposed to hate them guys, but I said I'm a Brunson guy. Love Jalen Brunson, love the way he played. The Knicks looking tough right now. What do you think of this move by the Knicks, and how do you think it impacts the East?
Um, just aside, they re-signed OG right before the draft, so he's back. Gave him a 5-year deal to 12, I believe.
I thought it
So
wasn't
he,
finalized until free agency start.
I mean, not finalized, but that's just like
Yeah.
with the Bam contract. It's agreed on. More than likely,
Yeah.
they're gonna sign it. Um, so he's pretty much back.
Not unless they do like
Um,
DeAndre Jordan, boy.
yeah, that's different. He was playing mind games back then, but now OG wants to be in New York, especially
Yeah.
they gave him the bag. So, I like it because off rip they're 8 deep. So at this point now, that's even if they don't bring Hartenstein back. Granted, you have to play Randall at the 5 some, but now
No,
you
you
can
still
play
got
D.
Mitchell Robinson.
No, he's still on there, but I'm saying if they wanted to match up sometimes against Porzingis,
Oh.
and switch everything,
Mm-hmm.
you'll probably have to play Randall at the 5. But I believe you have, let's see, you have Brunson, Kel, OG, Randall. I'm missing somebody. Oh, okay, I guess Mitchell Robinson.
Hart,
But oh, Hart.
DiVincenzo.
But that's basically what I'm saying is now your bench really can be DiVincenzo, Hart, and McBride. That's a solid top 8 off rip. That's even if they don't bring Hartstein back.
As a side note, I also love what the Knicks did in the draft.
Hmm.
They made a lot of moves. They got Tyler Kolek, solid, floor general,
Hmm.
from Marquette. I don't know if Tibbs gonna play him,
Yeah, I don't
but
think he's gonna play much this year.
but
Yeah.
he's there if needed. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
But
he's gonna do. They're gonna put him on the McBride plan. How McBride barely got burned for the first couple years, and next thing you know, he's
first
solid
on the
play off the
scene.
bench. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but they have a solid top 8, um, and they got defenders. I think they're looking at Boston and seeing if we can get past Boston, we have a shot in the finals against whoever come out the West.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and in order to go toe to a Boston, you're gonna have to defend because they have the ultimate mismatch in Porzingis. But you have wing defenders in OG, Mikhail, Josh Hart, you know, and Mikhail is a
DiVincenzo.
capable 3-point DiVincenzo, capable 3-point shooters. So I like the team, and I was speaking about this the other day. Though I'm a Heat fan, I can honestly say the NBA is better when the Knicks are good. I would like them to be good while the Heat can still beat them and be better than them. But it's nothing like watching games and when they're playing at Madison Square Garden and they're good. The crowd is rocking from tip off, before tip off, and that's probably been not to get too much on the Heat, but that's probably one of my most things that I kind of dislike. The Heat crowd really doesn't show up until the playoffs. Uh,
Jimmy said that.
yeah, New York, once they have a team that they believe in, they rocking with it.
Even if they
guarding
even if they
guys.
team suck.
True, but I just know it's a different. You can feel it through the
Oh
TV,
yeah,
the chants and everything like that is special. When New York basketball is good. So I love the move. I mean, a lot of people are going to criticize giving up I think 4 first round picks, a pick swap, so technically 5 first round picks for Mikhail. But I feel like with the team that they have, they believe in Jalen Brunson to be their superstar, and they want pieces around it that fit, not only fit on the court but off the court as far as personalities. And I think Julius Randle, seeing the success that they had without him, I think he's gonna come back and buy in and not try to be as ball dominant. Get buckets when he's needed.
if
And
so,
just
that
let
boy out of there.
Yeah, but I think he's gonna buy in because Julius, once you play in the league for a while, it's like it gets to a point where it's about winning.
Mhm.
I done made my money. Not saying that you're not gonna try to get another bag down the line, but at least we're gonna try to win. We done seen that we could have got to the Eastern Conference Finals if we was healthy. Now we added
Right,
Mikal Bridges, so
right.
yeah, I love the move actually.
Yeah, I love the move too. I know I was saying like I was mad at the Knicks, but that's only for selfish reasons. I actually don't mind that they gave up 5 picks for Mikal. Uh, because it was one of them things. The Knicks had to make a move now. With the new rules kicking in, they was gonna be locked into kind of what they have, and it was kind of gonna be impossible to trade for a superstar. So I understand it, and I like it. I'm happy for the Nets too that they got picks back, so now they can stop being trash. But
What
like,
did you catch the other silent trade that the Nets made
oh
with the
yeah, with,
Rockets?
with yeah with the Rockets. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh yeah. They think
yeah,
they
they
think
was
they're
able to
getting
get their
somebody from
picks.
the Suns.
Not only that, they was able to get their picks back.
Pick back, yeah. You know what that mean, right? There's a guy, Cooper.
Yeah, Cooper, you been in Brooklyn.
Most definitely, because I think they'll trade up. Now they got a pick, like a
Yeah.
couple of picks. They gonna trade up. But like the only thing I didn't like about the 5 picks is like it was 5 picks for Mikal. So then now we get into for like I said for selfish reasons. We Heat fans on here, so if a star does become available, now you're looking at it's a higher cost now for maybe a Donovan Mitchell, which I don't think he's going anywhere, or a Trey Young or Laurie Markkinen. Like they're gonna be like Mikal was just 5 draft picks. So now all these other players that's about to get dangled out there, they gonna cost a little bit more now. Uh, but
Don't blame Mikhail. Blame Rudy. Rudy started
oh yeah,
this.
I've been blaming Rudy. Man,
Rudy started this.
Rudy can't even. Rudy just be flinging that thing at the rim, bro. He ain't got no post moves. Oh, bro, you 7 feet tall, bro. I'm sorry, Pod. I can go.
Yeah,
I respect Rudy as a defender, but like when I see him have the ball in his hand, sometimes I'll be like, bro, you going up there like you 7 foot, bro. Go up there with authority.
exactly.
Man, be getting bullied. But that's a topic for a different day. But
Yeah,
nah,
we
do
got
you
time.
do you feel like the Knicks are the biggest threat to the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference? UD came out on ESPN and said he thought the Miami Heat was still the biggest threat. We don't know what Milwaukee and Philly gonna be like next year. The Pacers and the Magic and the Cavaliers potentially are on the rise. So who do you think will be the biggest threat to the Boston Celtics by the time next season rolls around?
On paper, right now it's the Knicks. Uh, but that's contingent on if Paul George signed with the Sixers. I touched on this earlier, but um, fully healthy, nobody can stop Embiid in the East. They're just simple as that. We haven't seen Embiid fully healthy or close to healthy in the playoffs, but I kind of feel like Embiid gonna have his turn. We seen it this year with Boston, where everybody else got injured and they
Bro, I
remained.
almost said something.
They remain healthy for the most part, aside from Porzingis, but they really need Porzingis. Um, I just feel like I'm of the mindset that every dog has his day, and I feel like Embiid is somewhat close to healthy. In a 7 game series, nobody in the East is stopping Embiid. Definitely 1-on-1. And if you have a scorer like Paul George and also Maxi, and you can put little pieces around it, I feel like that's more formidable than guards relying on shooting because even though three beats two, like
Hmm.
it's different when you have a monster down there that you can't do nothing with. And even in the series that Embiid has showed, when he went up against Boston, like yeah, they still lost, but he was a problem, But injuries derailed him, So I just feel like if they can get Paul George, me personally, even with the move that Knicks made, I would slot the Sixers as number two and the biggest threat to Boston. But we have to stay in the moment. So right now it's the Knicks.
Well, one team it definitely won't be this upcoming season is the Atlanta Hawks, because they traded away DeJounte Murray to the New Orleans Pelicans for Larry Nance and draft compensation. What are your thoughts on this trade? Does it make a difference for either team? We don't know what's going to happen with Brandon Ingram. All signs point to he's most likely out of there because they don't want to extend him. I'm surprised that he wasn't involved in this trade. But what are your thoughts on you know both sides, the Atlanta Hawks and the New Orleans Pelicans?
I don't. Me personally, I could be wrong. I don't think the Atlanta Hawks is done dealing. Personally, I think they're gonna decide to tank for this new draft class that's coming up too. Um, but actually, for New Orleans, I actually like it. Excuse me, I like it because New Orleans, and I didn't know the stat until today. But a few games that I watched, especially going towards the end, trying to make the playoffs, they struggle a lot in the last 5 minutes of the game, and I think that's partly due to bad spacing. Because they have capable shooters, but not to me they don't have knockdown shooters. And Zion, third, fourth year in the league, he's still, only thing he's doing driving to the basket. So a lot of times that boggles down the offense, and CJ can get you a bucket, but when CJ is the primary, I think scorer is a little different versus when he was able to play off Dame. With Dejounte this year, and I think a few of the years that he was in San Antonio, he was top of the league or close to the top of the league in clutch points. And I think we both remember a game down in Miami where he came down and shot that three at the end. He's proven to rise big in those moments. I don't know if it's going to propel them, seating wise,
The
or
West is going to get a
but
lot tougher next year.
yeah, the West is, it's going to be really. I think the West really doesn't matter, seed wise, it's matchups.
Hmm.
But I do think he does solve a problem as far as fourth quarter issues where you can give him the ball and he can get a bucket or make a play for you. So I like it on New Orleans side. It's but also going to depend on the improvements that Zion make to his game as well.
Yeah.
Atlanta, like I said, I touched on it before. I think Atlanta's not done. I wouldn't be surprised if Trey gets traded. I wouldn't be surprised also if he doesn't. But I think they're going to push towards the future and try to get a high pick in this upcoming year's draft because, like I said in the previous pod, this draft coming up is supposed to have prospects that could potentially be franchise type guys. So I think they know they're not going to win a championship. So I think they're going to do as best a job as a fire sale as they can. I think Capella's going to be gone. They're going to build around Johnson and possibly a high draft pick.
My response to that on the Atlanta side, they actually don't own any of their draft picks for next year. The only draft picks they have is a lottery protected pick from the Sacramento Kings and 2 picks from with no protections from Minnesota. So even if they deal Trae Young, unless they deal Trae Young to the Spurs so they can get their picks back, they're gonna have to win because they're not gonna be in control of their own picks, and most likely the person that they trade Trae Young to, or the team that they trade Trae Young to, is gonna get a lot better. So it's gonna put them in a tough position either way. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, how they gonna go about that. I don't know if they got the New Orleans pick in that trade, but I also don't see.
I think they did. I don't know.
I
Go ahead.
I also don't see the New Orleans Pelicans with everything happening in the West, and of course the Rockets gonna improve if Ja Morant stays out of trouble and stays healthy, and the Grizzlies stay healthy. I think they're going back into the playoffs. So I don't really see a world where the New Orleans Pelicans really make the playoffs, especially if they trade Brandon Ingram and you depending on the trio of Zion, CJ, and Dejounte. I mean, I could be wrong because they still got good young pieces and Herb Jones and Trey Murphy, but
Hmm.
I just don't see them being better than all the other teams in the Western Conference. But so I think for both teams, I'm just it doesn't really move me because I don't really think either team got better or worse. They just kind of stayed in the middle of the pack. Well, no, Atlanta got worse, but they just kind of. But as far as the New Orleans Pelicans, they just kind of stayed in the middle. I wanted to get into a little WNBA. Candace Parker's record for the most consecutive double doubles was 10 games. Angel Reese has tied that up, and if you're a betting man, there's big odds on her to pass that in tonight's game. By the time this comes out, you'll probably be you'll probably know if she did or not. But what do you think of Angel Reese's ascension in the WNBA? It's looking like she's in the lead for Rookie of the Year. She's on this amazing run. Do you think that she'll break Candace's streak? They're going against the Minnesota Lynx in their next game, which is the hottest team in the W. We'll get to them in a second. What are your thoughts on, you know, Angel Reese's current play?
Um, is like I said, the talent is undeniable. I didn't see a streak like this being broken, especially with our rookie, but it's very impressive. I believe she will break it tonight. It's gonna be tough. Like I said, going against the number one team in the league, odds on that she'll definitely get the rebounds. I would say we'll see. With defense focused on her, if she'll get double digit points. But like I said, it's very impressive what she's doing.
Yeah, I think she'll get it for sure. Uh, she just haven't has a knack for getting rebounds. Like you said, I am. It's more so about putting the points on the board, but you know she's had some games in here where all she scored is like 10 points, 11 points. So I think it's doable. I think she's a focal point of the Chicago Sky offense. They got Kennedy Carter. She scores point, but everybody else outside of that is just kind of like you never know who's gonna be the leading scorer of the night. Speaking of the Minnesota Lynx, they're the hottest team in the W right now, coming off a Commissioner's Cup win against another hot team in the New York Liberty. What do you think of their championship aspirations this year?
Um, they have a good shot, a great shot actually. What I've noticed over the years with women's basketball, you can't really put too much stock. You can put some. You can't put too much stock on, the record at the halfway point of the season, because there it's a lot about matchups as well. Unless you just have a totally transcendent player that you can't stop, And honestly, the last 2 years with the Vegas Big Three, with Plum, Wilson, and
Jackie Young
Jackie Young, but they got off to a slow start this year with Young,
on a 3-game winning streak though.
yeah, coming off her injury that she had. I feel like a lot of things will be decided in the playoffs once you get to that point, but they're doing good and doing great actually, right now.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you said. As a side note, I am a Lynx fan. Because my favorite WNBA player of all time, Maya Moore. She left the game, but to me, that's favorite WNBA player of all time. So I rock with the Lynx. Shout out Kayla McBuckets. Real sniper. But I think for me, I'm still in tune with the idea of the Aces and the Liberty in the finals rematch. I just think they have the talent, uh, to make it through tough times. I know for the Aces, it's been a struggle, especially the fact that their conference got stronger with the Lynx being back up there, the Connecticut Sun. So I think the road is going to be a little bit harder, but ultimately I do see the Aces and Liberty when it's all said and done, going off for that rematch with the Liberty taking the chip this year. Yeah, so you can mark me down for that. Um, but yeah, as far as the Lynx, maybe they'll surprise. Uh, we just have to wait and see. We're going to get into a segment. We debuted it last week. We're going to bring it back again this week. It's about that time, ladies and gentlemen. It's crunch time. Today's topic is contracts. A lot of contracts been handed out. A lot of contracts been declined. Um, I'm gonna just call off, a player situation. My brother Ty gonna handle the rest. Number one on the clock, Kenny Atkinson became the new Cavaliers coach, and Cleveland is planning to extend Donovan Mitchell for $209 million for 4 years, I believe, and extend him. What are your thoughts on this?
Love it for Kenny Atkinson. I felt like he got a raw deal with the next job. I believe he got let go before they made the KD Kyrie transactions, or it was right after one of the two. But
Yeah, he didn't want to do it.
um, I just you know I his time spending in Golden State and his time over the league, I really like it. As far as Donovan, still want him in the Heat jersey, but we just have to wait and see if he signed that dotted line. I'm hold out the last little some bit of hope I got. But like I said, I love it for Kenny Atkinson.
Speaking of Miami Heat, Bam Adebayo signed for a extension for the next 3 years, which he took a huge pay cut because if he would have made all NBA or Defensive Player of the Year this upcoming season, he would have been in line for $300+ million extension. What are your thoughts on Bam Adebayo getting his extension?
Um, I like that he decided to lock in. Maybe it's done. It was done for a reason. Because like there was money left on the table. We have to see down the line what that reason was. But, it's nice to know that you have your franchise at this point cornerstone, who's going to be leading your franchise going forward, locked in. So, I like it. It's just interesting the timing of it and the why of he did it. Maybe something down the line, holding out hope, Bam. I know you're making these calls, making these connections, especially with Team USA, but you know, we'll see.
Speaking of connections, one of Bam's nearest and dearest friends, De'Aaron Fox, decided not to sign his extension. Actually, wants to wait till next year to see how the Kings roster is constructed and how things play out this season. What are your thoughts? Do you think it's possible for De'Aaron Fox to actually leave the Kings, or he's just waiting, for bigger contract?
I think with him is very possible. Where he ultimately decides, I think he has 2 more years, so it's not like he has really the control right now. I think he can't really put pressure on until this upcoming summer, going into next season. Um, but a lot of things can change at that time, on his roster and other rosters. But I definitely feel like he's somebody that probably need to look more into later down the road and see where it's actually going.
Scotty Barnes became the highest paid Raptor in franchise history, and the Raptors also, you know, signed back Emmanuel quickly. What are your thoughts on those options?
We kind of knew for a while that Scotty was gonna get the bag. They pretty much let it be known that they were building a team around Scotty, getting rid of Siakam and OG. Kind of let you knew that they was building a team around Scotty, so that wasn't surprising. Um, I like Emmanuel Quickly's game, but seeing that contract showed me that Tyler Hero contract isn't that bad as I originally thought. Um, but it's obvious that they're going with their youth movement between Quickly, Barnes, and Barrett. Um, they actually and signed drafted Scotty's boy, first pick in the second round. So it kind of, not saying he's not deserving of getting picked, because he was up to go in the second round, just not that early.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of shows you that it's really Scotty's team.
Yeah.
Um, and it's nothing wrong with that. But you know, I, I I I don't really see them moving anything this year. Um, but they keep putting pieces together, and they probably can build something with the youth that they have. But not surprising, especially Scotty's contract.
Yeah. Sorry for, the pauses in between. I just got word here from, I'm looking at a report by Shams Charania. Klay Thompson and the Warriors are braced for the end of an era. This, all signs point to Klay moving on, the Warriors moving on. It said that the Dallas Mavericks are interested in bringing Klay on. What are your thoughts?
I don't believe, I could be wrong. I don't believe he can go to Dallas either, because they're an apron team. Because Luka makes a lot and Kyrie makes a lot. Even though they got rid of Tim Hardaway, but I think they only got rid of Tim Hardaway to be able to sign Derrick Jones Jr. back. Um, I think the only option for Clay at this point, especially with PG opting out, would be Orlando. And I actually like the move for him. Actually, you play with some young guys, and if he can regain some of what he had, in Golden State, I think it'd be more. I think it'd be a new inspiration to kind of show people that he can still play at a high level. Whether it happens or not, we don't know. But I actually like if he can go down, to Orlando, be that veteran presence, be able to hit shots and kind of show, in a sense, what he can do, on a different team. But I would definitely like that for him. I know I'm speaking in things into the future, but I think a lot of teams that are contenders or close to being contenders can't afford Clay, even though he's not going to demand that much compared to like a Paul George. But with, like I said, with the new collective bargaining agreement, it's pretty much hard to sign anybody unless you have a lot of people on rookie contracts, or you were just able to do a fire sale like Detroit and create all this cap space, and we know nobody's trying to play there. So I think he's going to Orlando.
Detroit
But
fans
actually,
all hate us.
hey, he had the worst, one of the worst record in the last 5 years, and I guess any pro sports team. It's been real bad over there. Um, but yeah, I kind of, if he does go to the Magic, I really like that move for him. It's in
Well,
a era, but
yeah.
it's a new chapter for Clay.
The reporting is saying the Lakers, Clippers, and Mavs are strong suitors, and LeBron James opted out to take a pay cut so the Lakers can bring on guys like James Harden, Klay Thompson, or Jonas Valanciunas. That's what
Yeah,
the
but
reporting is saying.
it's a lot of reports, around this time. But you have to be realistic. They can only sign players to a mid-level exception, which is, I believe, capped at $12 million. James Harden not signing for $12 million. Klay Thompson not signing for $12 million when he can go get 20 and 30 in Florida with no state tax. Like, come on, the dollars, yeah, make dollars make sense.
I think I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I think Klay Thompson, like, because, like, he a LA guy, and he's, said in the past that he would want to stay in California. I can honestly see him, staying on, like, going to the Lakers or the Clippers.
Yeah, but that was when they had the money before they signed D'Lo and they signed this person, they signed that person. You can book this. He's not going to play for $12 million.
All right.
Because it's like, what do you at that point? What are you chasing? You have 4 rings. Like, what are you chasing? Like, to go stand in the corner and shoot when LeBron passes you the ball? Like, and then you can literally go to a team where you can try. Not saying you got to prove people wrong, but you can be off rip. He will be the second man on the Magic. That's off rip. Like, we know
Third.
Paulo is Paulo. Nah, he's going over Wagner. Book it. Shot wise, he going over Wagner. Book it. He
Klay
going to the
over
Magic.
Franz.
Yeah, book it. I'm not asking who's better. I'm not asking who's
I
better.
ain't saying I'm not saying he better, but I'm just saying when it comes, bro. That's Paulo and Franz team. He's not,
Okay,
bro.
book it.
He
If
not
he
doing
goes to the
it.
Magic, if he goes to the Magic, we'll revisit this. I guarantee you, he will have more points per game than Franz.
Oh no, now you tripping.
Okay, we're gonna
Now you
revisit it.
tripping.
We're gonna revisit it because he's gonna get the ball. They're gonna look at him as their vet.
Yeah, they
So he's gonna
is,
get the
but this
ball.
man is not about to average more points a game than Franz Wagner right now,
He gonna get more shots.
bro. Have you seen Clay? Like, I love Klay Thompson. Have you seen Klay Thompson the past 2 years, bro? He had all the shots in the world, bro. On the Warriors, he was the second option.
Okay, but
This what I'm telling you,
and the thing of it is that people like they look, and that's one thing. So like you have to look at the stats in whole and not just games. He had the worst year of his career is better years than most people they did best year. So I think he shot 41% or 40% this year.
bro.
How many
But
people
that's
still shoot
I'm,
40%?
bro. Do you get see? That's not what I'm talking about, bro. I'm basically saying he was the he was the second option on this past year's team, right? He was supposed to
Not
be.
really. He was supposed to be, but not
He
really.
was supposed to be though. So you telling me if he go to Orlando with Franz and Paulo, he gonna be the second option when he was supposed to do it for this team this year? If he was
The
really,
man,
but I'm saying if he was really the second option, bro, the Lakers would have. I mean, the Warriors would have made the playoffs, bro.
the man had a bad year, and they dealt with a lot of injuries this year.
Bro,
But he had a bad year.
he done
Like
had a
if
bad
if
two
Clay if
years.
if Clay don't play in their finals, they don't beat Boston.
So who coming off of, bro? So who? So you really think the Magic gonna really hand him the keys and be like, yeah, take us
It's
home.
not
You are
handing him.
second
It's not hand.
second best
It's not hand.
scorer.
Because Paulo's the man. Everybody know Paulo's the man. But I'm telling you, he signed with the Magic. He getting the second most shots.
He's gonna
And
take
we
a lot
get
of shots. No, but you said he gonna average more than Franz, bro.
he's going to average more than him. France is going to be the third man. I'm
What in
telling you.
shot attempts?
No, he's going to be third man in scoring.
Yeah, he gonna have to
Y'all
show
sleep
me.
on Clay. Y'all
He
sleep
gonna.
on
I
Clay.
ain't sleeping on Clay.
Y'all
I
sleep
know,
on
bro.
Clay.
I know
Clay
what
had a
Clay
bad.
about.
Clay had a
I
bad
know
year.
what Clay
Everybody have a
about,
bad
bro.
year.
Bro,
Everybody have a bad year.
nah, bro. I think
Yeah,
we thinking about it two different ways, bro.
that's fine. We gonna
Because
check the stats.
I'm
If he
saying
goes to the
like
Magic, we gonna check the stats.
I'm saying that this is Paulo and Fran's team. I don't see Klay Thompson coming
First
in.
of all, this is not Paulo and nobody. This is Paulo's team. Ain't no Paulo in France. Nothing. It's Paulo's team.
You got it, bro. You're right. I agree. It's Paulo's team,
And
but
France show
if we
France
doing
show he.
pecking order, Klay Thompson is third, bro.
First of all, France need to learn how to pass the ball. At the end of game three, and I hate to go back. Is it game three or game five? One of them. It was in Cleveland. The score was they were down by one. This man drove double team. Paulo is at the top of the key by himself, and he gonna try to go over two
Bro,
receiver
you
ball.
can't do that. This is their first time in
First
the
of all,
playoffs. They still young, bro.
and you're right. It's Paulo's team. You should see Paulo on the sideline, like,
I
bro,
didn't
you
say it
gotta.
wasn't Paulo's team. I'm just
That's
saying
what I'm saying.
Klay Thompson is
Ain't no
not about
Paulo
to
in
come.
front.
Klay
It ain't no
Thompson is
Paulo in
not about
front.
to come.
Number
If you
five.
said Paul George, if
No,
you said Paul George,
number
okay.
five.
Klay
Number
Thompson,
five. Paulo. Paulo Banchero. 6'10".
see, this
Yeah.
this how you know you right, ladies and gentlemen. When they don't let you
Nah.
speak,
Nah.
because they don't want to hear the
Well,
truth.
nah. I just want to check them stats. If this if Clay goes there.
If Klay go to the Lakers, he gonna be the second best scorer.
First of all, he's not going to the Lakers. But no, you
I'm
got LeBron and
I'm
AD.
asking you a
You
question.
have LeBron and AD.
I'm
You
asking.
have LeBron and AD. You don't pay. So we paying France to AD now. Boy, I tell you, boy. People think 2K real life. I tell
Oh,
you, boy.
I didn't even
2K
say
is
that.
not real
I'm just
life.
saying. I'm just saying. I'm
We talking about the Magic.
saying.
Yes, on the Magic, he's second. Yes,
So
on the
he goes
Magic.
to. Okay, bro, you got it, bro.
I'm saying we talking about like France been lighting up the league or something. Man, you better relax. Like
I
Paulo,
didn't
you
say
got
that. I
Paulo.
didn't say that. I'm just saying. You know what? Magic
You got
fans that watch this, bro. Y'all know what I mean. Yeah. So we
man.
really about to take the ball out of Fran's hands to give it to Klay. That's what
This,
this man
well,
tell me.
France made the All-Star team last year. I
No,
ain't been watching. I'm just asking. You said take the ball out of hand, like he just been just killing the league or something. I'm trying to figure out what
you
he did.
talking like the man a bum.
I'm not saying the bomb, but you said take the ball out of his hand, like like
The man averaged
like
20
we
points
hurting him.
last season.
Oh, okay. What'd he do? About time. I mean,
Oh man,
he ain't got nobody else.
Tom.
Average. Who else is gonna pass the ball to Markel Fultz?
Yeah, bro. Ladies and gentlemen,
Hey, better average 20. Paulo can take all the shots.
ladies and
Damn,
gentlemen,
Paulo. I feel bad for you, Paulo.
I
What to
do
be
too.
Superman already?
Come, I ain't say that. He putting words in my mouth like always.
Hey,
But
Clay, go to if you're listening, go to Orlando. You better prove your
just
boy
so we
right.
can see.
Prove your boy right, right? Because you already know. Hey,
Yep,
Clay for three.
prove him
Down
right.
there,
He
Magic
said it right
Kingdom,
the first time.
Magic, perfect form. You know how Clay shoot.
Yeah, it sound good. But
It will be.
hold on, bro. Before we get out of here, this man ain't about to tell me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been another episode of the Link Up. I'm your host, Ron the Don. Before we get on out of here, does Mr. Paulo Banquero's #1 fan want to say anything
Why I be
else?
no? Why I be
Bro,
number
I'm not
five? Gotta be
dissing
true.
Paulo. I like Paulo.
I'm just
I'm
saying.
just saying.
I
I'm
speak the
just
truth about
saying.
Tatum. I gotta be his #1 fan. I speak the truth about Paulo. I gotta be #1 fan. Every
I
time I
agree
try to
with you,
speak the
bro.
truth, I gotta be
Bro,
#1 fan.
every time they come to any situation with Duke players, you get a little emotional on here. I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
I do. I will admit that.
But I never said any. I never said
I be
anything about Paulo. This was
the
about
brotherhood is
Franz
real.
and Klay.
Listen, we're gonna have this Franz and Clay talk off air, but I can tell you some stats since we're talking about Franz. Take the ball out of his hand. Come on, man. Let's talk about Franz no more.
All right. Any
Too
last
much
words,
airtime.
sir? Because you doing a lot of talking. We can keep it going. We can keep it
I'm a busy.
going.
I'm a
Because
busy
I
man,
mean,
man. Unfortunately.
all right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of the Link Up. I'm your host, Ron the Don. My co-host, Ty. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you're not already. We appreciate the love at all times, I promise. And we out.
Trip forever and I'm just not getting started. That's the one. Yeah.